Take a moment to think about peak Bollywood cinema. If you imagined over the top settings, melodrama, a hero running in slow motion, or a song sequence set in a foreign location for no reason, then you are likely to be describing a typical Karan Johar movie. And I don't blame you because for years long, Karan Johar has delivered the same overused tropes, stereotypical characters, and predictable plots, so much so that our very schemas have been influenced by them. And come to think of it, these have been sold to us not as thought provoking films, but as products. And that brings us to the discussion of culture industry. Culture industry, which is a theory by Adorno and Horkheimer, describes a system of entertainment, in this case movies, that are not about creativity but about mass production. And they aren't exactly meant to challenge our ideas but are meant to be consumed passively by the audience. In this video, I'd like to particularly talk about Rocky or Rani Ki Prem Kahani, a movie that showed cultural clashes between two very different families. Now, the problem with this lies in the very stereotypical characterization of the two main leads, with Rocky Randhawa as this hyper masculine, gym freak, loud Punjabi guy, and Rani Chatterjee as a progressive, career driven, self made Bengali woman. But that apart, when it came out, the movie was lauded as the most subversive of Karan Johar's films so far. In all fairness, it does touch upon important topics like sexism, colorism, fat shaming, and even cancel culture. And this one scene from the movie is representative of that fact. Take a look.
क्योंकि हमारे घरों में औरतों को मर्दों की जागीर नहीं समझा जाता।
रॉकी मैं ਇਹਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਗੱਲ नहीं कर रहा।
बिना मर्जी बेटियों की शादी नहीं करवाई जाती।
रॉकी
किसी के सपनों का गला नहीं घोटा जाता।
रॉकी बोल इसे।
हम डर के साथ नहीं मोहब्बत के साथ रहते और बहुत नसीब से मिलती है ऐसी घटिया फैमिली।
रॉकी चुप कर, ऐसे में बात नहीं कर रहा इससे।
मैं बात कर रही हूँ।
The impact of this scene, one that had so much potential, is ultimately watered down because it is set in a family reconciliation arc. And the movie's predictability itself dulls the effect, while the trailer gives away that Rocky and Rani will eventually get married. So, in the grand scheme of things, this scene serves no real purpose than to add dramatic effect. Now, this isn't new for Karan Johar films, as family has always been the centerpiece of his storytelling. For example, the tagline of Kabhi Kushi Kabhi Gum was "It's all about loving your parents," and it left no ambiguity about the family values that were promoted in the film. Similarly, Rocky or Rani also follows the same template where conflicts aren't confronted but are brushed aside because another critique is of how gender progressivism is very limitedly portrayed. Rani is first introduced to us as this outspoken journalist, but ultimately her character arc is absorbed into the romantic framework. Likewise, the critique of tradition is very selective in the sense that while the movie addresses regressive norms, it ultimately affirms family unity and cultural values, which are all the hallmarks of mainstream Bollywood cinema, ensuring no real disruption. So the narrative structure follows the same formula where love triumphs, families come together, and the existing social order adapts just enough to appear modern on the outside without ever truly evolving. Even patriarchal figures like the character of Tijori is ultimately redeemed and forgiven by the end of the movie. The movie is perhaps a textbook example of how rebellion is co opted by the very structure it claims to challenge. By allowing dissent only to a certain degree, dominant ideologies give us the illusion of change, all the while ensuring that no real systemic shifts occur. The message is very clear. Rebellion is only acceptable as long as it can be marketed and as long as it is palatable by the audience. One of the lines from the movie, which goes like Soch nahi par swad vahi, perfectly captures what it's all about. A slightly different packaging of the same old values. And perhaps that is why movies like Rocky or Rani are not critically acclaimed, because true critical cinema does not merely stop at aesthetics, they push for true disruption. Take, for instance, the movie Thappad, which refused to romanticize the idea of compromise. The protagonist in the movie walks away from her oppressive marriage, refusing the idea that women are supposed to endure suffering for the sake of family. Rocky or Rani, in contrast, preserves the institution of family without questioning its foundation. And therein lies the difference. While some movies challenge ideas, others merely rehash them. So, the next time a movie presents itself as progressive, ask yourself if it truly questions
the status quo.